Peter Dinklage putting dwarves out of a job. 7 of Us as Disney for canceling 7 dwarves from Snow White. Remarkable remake because of the woke multi-millionaire Game of Thrones star said they were offensive. Well, that's kind of what it ultimately is, isn't it? A lot of this woke stuff is to destroy it, is to get rid of it, is to change culture, change the whole fabric of culture, change everything about culture to an extent. Let's hear from the horse's mouth himself. All right here. So this is Peter Dinklage right here talking about his views on the thing.
Yeah,
but
they're very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White.
Yeah,
but you're still telling the story of Snow White.
Yeah,
7 dwarfs.
Sure.
So, take a step back and look at what you're doing there.
Yeah,
I know. That makes no sense to me.
Well,
You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backward
Sorry
story of 7 dwarves living in a cave. What the fuck are you doing, man?
Well,
have I done nothing to advance the cause?
I don't understand. What's the critique? I genuinely don't. It's just like you can't make a movie like that. I mean, as he played Tyrion Lannister as a dwarf, so I don't understand what's the deal. But here is an actor, Dylan Postel. And to be fair, I've never heard of this guy in my entire life. Rails against Peter Dinklage for pushing Disney to change characters of 7 Dwarfs Snow White adaptation. So you're taking away roles of not just 1, but 7 little people. This is his pushback against Peter.
If a dwarf just dreams of being an actor, and in a Disney film, this role is made for them. So now you're taking these roles of not just 1, but 7 little people away because you feel
what up,
like
Tiger Man?
You have to make progression. It's so stupid. It's just dumb. You're actually doing worse for the community than better. And by saying they're these cave-dwelling Neanderthal kind of people, no. They lived in a cottage, mind you, surrounded by gems, so they were rich, and they were working-class dwarves. He didn't do his research.
Of course he didn't do the research, and that's pretty much how all of this is, isn't it? That no one actually does the research, no one actually thinks of the nuance, no one actually thinks of more deeply maybe what they're doing, some of the ramifications of what they're doing to destroy culture. They're just doing it because they feel like they're on this high horse. They feel like they have a mission to make everybody say, look at me. I don't see what the other thing, like the pushback from it, because Peter Dinklage just said, come on, man. I mean, we can't have dwarves. It's just like people are in caves, so it's like, duh. I think this guy gets kind of spot on right at the beginning. Let's hear this beginning part.
Dwarf just dreams of being an actor, and in a Disney film, this role is made for them. So now you're taking these roles of not just 1, but 7 little people away because.
And that has always been my critique with some of this wokeism and this cancel culture and just our overall temperament with society and culture today is that it constantly wants to destroy. It never wants to create. It's so consumed. We're such a culture of just being consumed with destruction, whether it's politicians, people's careers, what people create, especially art today in today's world, history. We are a culture that's obsessed with destruction. Is that on purpose? Some people would argue that. Is it part of the Cultural Revolution? Mao Zedong? That's another arguing point. But there are people right now that are just obsessed with getting rid or destroying things. That's like you're seeing this whole push for Joe Rogan to be taken off Spotify. You're seeing all these artists now this other artist, and I just saw Barry Manilow got put out, but then he pushed back and said, actually, I didn't say anything of that nature. But there are more artists that are coming out against this, and then you have all these like prominent Hollywood types, which is ironic because they're actors. You know, they're people that thrive on art, thrive on art that it makes you think, changes the way you view the world, pushes your boundaries, can be controversial. They thrive on this stuff because that's what makes great actors and actresses. That's what makes great movies. The more controversial a movie is, makes the movie better. The more a movie makes you uncomfortable, it makes you feel things that you wouldn't normally feel, it tends to make a better movie. But now we just want to dumb down everything and make people feel comfortable and make certain classes of citizens, they can only be portrayed in a positive light. They can only be portrayed in whatever light that community deems is okay to be portrayed as, which is such a weird concept in itself. Like, okay, you can make a movie about white men, but then you can only talk about white men in these categories. You can only put me in this category. You can only put me as a angry, conservative, white supremacist Republican that wants to tear down the forest and drive huge trucks and blow huge smoke clouds out my truck and pour my gasoline and change my oil on my driveway and just pour my oil in the sewers because I don't care about nothing. You can only portray people in certain lights, and that's why I always have a huge problem. That's why so many movies out today suck. They're just bad. Because everyone's so concerned about equity and being equitable in movies, and are the right characters portrayed rightly, and you can't just make a movie. You can't just create a character. Like, I can't just create a character if they're a certain class or deemed a marginalized community, even if they're celebrated, you know, even if the president celebrates them and actresses and actors celebrate them and there's movies about them and there's whole shows about them, there's a whole month to celebrate them, they're still considered marginal. I don't know how that freaking works logically, but we can go there. That's my problem with art in today's world, and it's being ruined. And like this guy right here, he's like, I'm a dwarf actor. I'm struggling for roles. I'm not Peter Dinklage. I'm not like the king. Or the best actor in my category of human, and you're taking away. You have the power to destroy, and you choose to destroy rather than build up. Rather than say something like, you know what, I'm not going to take this role. I'm going to allow other people to take it for me because I don't feel comfortable with this role, but also I think other people need to be represented other than myself. Like this guy. What's his name? Dylan Postal. Let me know your thoughts on this, because I just think, like, I just get so tired of people and their motives to destroy rather than build up and create. And I think we're seeing it played live before our eyes as we have a culture that is constantly consumed with ruining people's lives rather than, just being focused on themselves and trying to build up themselves and create things themselves. It's easier to destroy than create, isn't it?